Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? We are going to be playing with the new Adept Emo Palette, just doing some up close swatches and also comparing it to other existing palettes in the Adept line. So without any further ado, let's jump on in. This is going to be launching on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, for $72. And you can use my affiliate code AMYLOVES to save you 10% off. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to use my code, but definitely recommend at least using one to save a little bit of money. The packaging, I'm actually not obsessed with. I feel like it looks a little bit different than a lot of the other Adept packaging. It feels similar to like that Natasha Denona feel. You've got all of the little pinholes here so you can push your shadows out, but you can really see like the finger smudges on this, and it almost looks like it has like this like texture to it, like it's a sticker. I don't believe that it is, but it's just something, I don't know. Let me show you. In comparison to the Minka new palette, because this just has a little bit more of a matte finish, and I feel like it makes it look slightly less nice. But obviously you can see packaging is very similar vibes. And then opening her up, she is stunning. I feel like this is such a pretty kind of cool tone, purple and green moment. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mattes. That's actually quite a lot for Adept. I feel like normally we're used to seeing maybe like 4 or 5 mattes in most of their palettes. You can see these are super pretty sparkly shimmers. So we've got the shade Whisper, which looks like a really beautiful, super sparkly sea white shade. Feels really soft to the touch. We've got Grayable, sorry, which looks like a very purple toned gray matte. Allure. Okay, this is a soft green gold, super shiny. And so far these shimmers do feel like the new kind of updated shimmer formula from Adept. Definitely not the thick, like more creamy shimmer shadows they used to do, but I feel like these are a little bit easier to work with. You can see that shift right there. So pretty. Next we have Pear, which is just a very soft green matte. We've got Seafoam. And Seafoam along with, what was it, Backdraft, are actually repeating shades from the House of L palette. So I will give you guys a comparison in a little bit, but that's just a really pretty kind of sea foamy green shimmer, as the name suggests. We have Coal Dust. Oh, that's really pretty. This one feels a little bit thicker to the touch. Not like a super chunky shadow by any means, but just in comparison to the other shimmers, which feel thinner. It's this like purpley black base with tons of different colored sparkles throughout it. So pretty. Ooh, that is very intense. I don't even know that it really has a whole bunch of shift to it. It's mostly just like multicolored sparkles. Next we have the shade Storm, which looks like a really pretty kind of blue-based gray matte tone. We've got MC1. Okay, that is definitely a special shadow. So we've got some holochrome going on. We've got some teal base, a purple flip, some gold shifts as well. Super cute. Dormant. Okay, this looks like a warm kind of rosy purple base with a green flip. Again, very sparkly, very metallic, while still also having a little bit more of that thin texture to it. Okay, I mean, gorgeous. You can see the shifts a little bit better right there. I'm gonna give you a different up close of the holochrome in just a second. You can always see the holochrome better on my finger like this. I mean, So pretty. Next we have Deep Abyss, which looks like a black matte shadow. Feels super, super creamy. Very pigmented to the touch. And then we've got a shade called Light Touch, which is a very soft pink toned mauve matte. I feel like that would be really, really cute for blending out in the crease. We've got another hollow, literally another hollow. This also looks super shifty because on camera it's pulling very teal for y'all, and in person it's pulling very purple for me. But I also see some green, and I feel like most of the holochrome shift of this is very silver. And then there's the holochrome a little closer. Ooh, it's a really smooth matte. Like even with the mirror right now, it's not really capturing quite how teal this shade goes, but I promise you it is very, very shifty. Slightly running out of space on my arm, but we've got 3 more shades. We've got Gold Rush, which this looks like a true metallic antique gold. Just stunning. We've got Blackened Brown, which I would agree with that color description. Just another nice smooth matte. And then Backdraft, which feels super intense. This one feels like the thickest of all of the shadows. And it is a very, very strong pink with a goldeny green flip to it. Super intense. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, and voila. That is the entire palette swatched out. It is so beautiful. It's definitely a little bit something more interesting. I'm into it. I think it's not even that neutral, but somehow it just seems like a very, very approachable color story, especially if you're like me. I've just been all about the neutrals recently. Super impressed by how everything's swatched. So let's go ahead and jump on in to some comparisons. I was thinking of just sharing what this palette looks like compared to some of the more recent palettes from Adept. And then of course I also wanted to show some comparisons of the House of Elle because we do have 2 repeating shades. This is an older palette from Adept, which is no longer available. It's been discontinued for a hot minute. It is definitely a special one, but it's not coming back. So let's look at those shades first. The website says that Laura Van Elle is what Seafoam is now, but honestly I feel like Jor-El looks more like Seafoam. So I think I'll swatch both of those just to show you. We've got Lara here, Jor-El, and then Seafoam. Somebody is caterwauling. Oh yeah, I wonder if that's actually a typo. I might reach out to Adept and just ask them, but I think this is the shade that it's inspired by or repeating from. Okay, so there's the old and the new. Very, very similar. And then we've got Cara Zor-El here, which I cannot pronounce the names. I'm not familiar with the references in this palette. I'm so sorry. But that is the shade that's being repeated with Backdraft here. Okay, Backdraft, it's definitely a little bit of a cooler pink. There's the old and the new. I would say they're close, but definitely not dead on. This one's a little bit peachier. Okay, so next, just wanted to go ahead and compare the Emo palette to the Minka Remastered, because I feel like these definitely have similar vibes. Maybe it's just the packaging that's throwing me off a little bit, but the Minka palette has a little bit more pink and like deeper tones, a little more warmth to it, versus I feel like this is like a cooler tone version. But I honestly think these two are very, very complementary of one another. Okay, what palette came out before that? I think it was the Vivette palette before that. Not my favorite color story from Adept, but just to share side by side. There's what those two look like. I feel like Vivette is kind of similar to Seafoam, but a little bit more intense. And then we've got my palette with Adept, of course. You know, just had to share really quick what these look like next to one another. Obviously, I feel like the AMYLOVES palette is a little bit cooler, but I do think that some of these mattes in here would be really, really complementary to what I've got going on, but the shimmers seem to be quite different. Maybe Whisper and Lights Up look a little similar. I could show you a swatch of those too. Just like Whisper's a little more icy and Lights Up has like a touch of pink to it, but they do feel like a very, very similar formula. I started swatching that off camera instead of just showing you. I don't know why, but there's what those two look like next to one another. Also pulled out the Unity palette to compare, because I think this has like those like pops of green, but this is more green and pink versus green and purple. And again, I feel like when you're looking at them side by side, this is just so much more muted. And then we do have the Flying Fiddles palette, which I feel like this is a very similar formula with the shimmers, but pretty different vibes. We've got some pops of green, but then everything else that's going on is very like teal and warm, and just like a lot of richness with the neutrals. Again, this is standing out to me as just something muted and cool and just, you know, not a neutral palette. There's really only a few neutrals happening here, and yet it's just so like, I don't know, it's very earthy toned. That's going to be all of the comparisons. I really hope this video was helpful for y'all, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye!